All right, it is August 20th, 2021. My name is Taansen Fairmont, and this is Lee Grant introducing.
Let's have a word of prayer. Father God, we thank you this day. We give you all the glory, all the praise, and all the honor. God, we know this day wasn't promised. It's because of your grace and your mercy, the reason why we're alive today. And we just want to say thank you, Lord. Lord, with so much trouble going on in this world and even in our country, but we know that you are God that can heal. You can heal our minds. You can heal our bodies. You can heal our relationship. You can heal anything. God, we thank you. But Father God, we ask today, Lord, that you grant us wisdom and knowledge. You said in your word, it is you that give us power to get well. Lord, there's many on this call. We're going to come into a wealthy place. But God, we ask that our host will give us knowledge and understanding how to manage our wealth. We don't want to be like the lottery winners. 6 months, 2 years later, they're broke. So God, we thank you right now, God. And we just praise you, Lord, that we're going to hear something today that's going to, Lord, cause our heart to burn within. And God, we say we don't lean to our own understanding, but we acknowledge you so that you can direct our path. Yes, that direct our path today. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Now, Kim Lee Group, some of you may be with Kim Lee Group, some of you may not, but I want to introduce our host. I learned something from him the other day. I have this trust, this British and Commerce Trust, but I put on the subject line trust owner, and he corrected me. He said, use the word trust operator. So you're not a trust owner, you're a trust operator. And let me give you a little bio of this gentleman that taking time out to be able to stay. His name is Taansen Fairmont. He's the founder of British and Commerce and is a consultant on debt elimination, natural law trust, and asset protection. He also a meditation teacher. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello? He also a meditation teacher, celestial musician, heavenly artist, and writer of Vedic science, high states of consciousness, and the dawn age of enlightenment. Taansen was educated in Maharishi International University in America and at Maharishi European Research University in Switzerland, where he received the title of Governor of the Age of Enlightenment in 1977 at age 22. Let me get it some more here. Hold on. He is also a former keynote speaker. Y'all, I can't talk and y'all talking too, okay?
Well, hold on. I'll mute everybody except you.
Okay.
Okay, please unmute yourself, Lee.
You got me?
Got you now. Okay, good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, now I need to move you out of the window here. He also a former keynote speaker at numerous international investment conferences worldwide on ocean cruises at many exotic tax haven resorts around the Pacific and the Caribbean. He is the author of the 1997 book, Sovereignty Consciousness. Later, the book, The Natural Law Trust, Asset Protection for Peaceful People, and how to outright cancel 100% of your unsecured debt, as well as the new forthcoming book, Cosmic Renaissance, Enlightenment in the Art. Taansen has been a manager of various pure natural law sovereign irrevocable trusts since 1993. He has either spoken or attended hundreds of seminars on asset protection, tax strategies, individual sovereignty, government expose, patriot campaigns, high yield investment, UCC, the banking cabal, commercial remedy, mortgage fraud, debt elimination, prosperity program, the global currency reset, and more. Let me finish here. I got to move it up. Yeah, I'm trying here. Okay, out of 1,000 program techniques, method, and system, I can't hardly read this here, but since 2002, Taansen has been focused on the few solutions that actually, today he's sharing with us a few of his pearls, which have enjoyed nearly 100% success. His simple system for canceling unsecured debts and his approach to invincible protection from asset protection reached by using one of the best trusts in the world. You hear what I said? One of the best trusts in the world. Mr. Taansen, I apologize for not reading this like I should, but I just want people to know that you're not a novice. You've been around this here for quite some time, and I'm praying that you're sure enlighten us on asset protection because we really need it. So at this time, I'd like for you to take over.
Well, you did a great job. Thank you so much, Lee. Much appreciated.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, everybody. And that's a great introduction. And Lee, you've been wonderful in your enthusiasm and your wisdom and your divine guidance. And yes, this is something that's really helping people. We keep people out of trouble. Our trust has kept people out of trouble. It has never failed. It has 100% success rate, meaning it's never been invalidated and never been penetrated. And so everyone, I think we'll go ahead and start with the screen sharing. Just a moment. All right, can everyone see that? The ones who have video? Okay. So Brilliance in Commerce, Private Placement Platforms, House of Freedom International Natural Law Trust. We are members of the Worldwide Charter for Fair International Commerce. We're signatories to that. There's our certificate, and you can see it on your website. And we will give your website, Lee, later on in the show. So when you get time, everyone, go and look at that, and you'll see the Worldwide Charter for Fair International Commerce. For example, as a minimum standard to comply with laws, we don't deal or sell in counterfeit or pirated goods. We act with the highest ethical standards and integrity, respect the relationships with all partners, clients, customers, and so on. As you can see, there's a list of 9 there. Okay. So today's topic, the International Natural Law Trust. Congratulations, everyone, on learning about this. We welcome anyone from any background with any kind of asset or any kind of willingness and ability to share this information with your associates. My name is Taansen Fairmont, founder, Brilliance in Commerce, consultant in bank instruments investment programs, speaker on radio shows, former investment seminars, and author of those books, as Lee was outlining. We have today's topic, the pearls of elite asset protection from the most adept master mentors. So these trusts are a previously best kept secret of the super rich. And peaceful people are enjoying protected status in state-of-the-art sovereign trust. We are going to share with you today the best guide. For generations, a few thousand people worldwide have been quietly successful in what others said was impossible. The trust clients can live and operate these trusts anywhere in the world, and this is because the unique House of Freedom International Natural Law Trust is not registered with any government agency. It operates successfully under the universal right of private contract honored by the Uniform Commercial Code, the UCC. No statutory legislation is applicable to it, and it cannot be invalidated. This is mainly for peaceful people. This means if you're engaged in dangerous work, that you may be under attack, sure, it can offer a lot of protection. And on the other hand, probably pretty close to 100% of our thousands of clients have been peaceful, meaning They just want to live their lives peacefully. They just want to keep their assets safe. They just want to be protected from tyranny and from thieves and from attackers, which the trust will do. So this guide is how the change makers, the conscious wealth managers, contributors to the golden age, are quietly transacting sacred commerce through an advanced asset protection instrument, previously a best kept secret of the super rich. And we call this the bridge to the golden age because this trust can go on for centuries, for millennia, without any kind of invalidation by any legislation in the future. It's just not something subject to that kind of authority. It's something that's private between people, and we all have the right. Ever since you were children, you had the right to make an agreement with a friend, right? You could be out playing somewhere and say, okay, we're going to play this ball this way, and we're going to play this game this way, and you didn't need to consult your parents or anybody to get permission to do that. It's a universal right, and when we grow up and we engage in commerce as adults, it's the same way. We're basically engaging in commerce with the unlimited right to be in contract with each other. It's been quietly succeeding for decades. You can bank and pay bills with it, enjoy freedom and privacy. It's valid in all countries. And we do have a book, an ebook about it. So here's a cartoon. You see Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall, had a great fall. All of Humpty's family and all of his friends couldn't believe that Humpty Dumpty didn't have a natural law trust. So this is an illustration of the wisdom of being prepared before a disaster happens or an attack. Everyone who's gotten a trust usually has wished they had gotten it sooner. Here we have how you can protect your assets and ensure your wealth goes to your loved ones or your chosen cause of interest. That means a charity, a humanitarian project. You can be the trustee, or you can appoint the trustee of your choice in the best trust in the world, proven by at least 5 generations of time-tested experience. And it can continue for centuries, outliving legislatures and governments. It's the most rare trust design used by the super rich. The House of Freedom International Natural Law Trust has been the choice of the people who have not consulted graduates of law school, but they've consulted special experts, mentors who have had the benefit of generations of experience since Western Europe and ancient times and moving right on into modern times. How to ensure your wealth goes to your loved ones. Most people everywhere fail to give proper thought to ensuring their wealth is passed on the way they want. Far too often, taxes, probate, and greedy advisors can eat away at your nest egg, leaving less available for your heirs or favorite charities. And thankfully, there are some solid options out there. Everyone who has wealth or who anticipates having wealth should have an estate plan, and it's not just about avoiding taxes. The easiest way to ensure your estate goes to the people and charities you care about is to create and operate a House of Freedom International Natural Law Trust. The NLT ensures your wealth doesn't get caught in the expensive and privacy invading process of probate. It makes a will less important or redundant, and it surpasses the entire field of both statutory and non-statutory entities out there, including common law trusts. It has corrected the mistakes of those and given 5 generations of fortunate operators the pleasure of quietly remaining protected, private, and free with a 100% success rate. This means it's never been penetrated or invalidated. And here's a cartoon about divorce court. And you see the guy's lost his shirt. He's lost everything but his underwear. And his attorney saying, hey, don't feel bad. Some guys lose everything. So he didn't have a natural law trust. Anyone who has their assets in a natural law trust then has imperviousness, you might say, bulletproof invincibility, because any liability attaching to one's personal name is no longer attachable, because it's not in one's personal name and it's in an entity that cannot be penetrated. You are blessed today to be the recipient of this disclosure of one of the rarest forms of asset protection in the world, the kind that the elite families have used for generations, such as the Kennedys, the Rockefellers, Mellons, Carnegies, Hunt brothers, and others. In fact, with the advancement of electronic technology, so has this asset protection instrument advanced as well. Over the years, it has gotten better and better. The ignorance and fear of attorneys about this vehicle is simply the very human fear of the unknown. That's all. The global system controllers have kept this type of asset protection vehicle very quiet. It is not taught in law schools. Ignorant attorneys may spread disinformation about it because they think it competes with their brainwashed narrow focus of law, but that doesn't stop hundreds of thousands of people worldwide from continuing to quietly enjoy the benefits of this vehicle. Thank you very much. The one who says it is impossible should not interrupt the one who is doing it. Today, we have to bequeath to you the benefit of many generations of evolution. The state-of-the-art instrument today enjoys total success, going back at least 5 decades, 3 decades of those at our company and another 2 decades of the mentors who preceded us. And if you add the other people who pioneered it prior to that, you could go back centuries. This instrument, this very unusual type of trust, cannot be invalidated. Another way of explaining the 100% success is that not a single user of this instrument has ever lost any assets out of it due to the trust being dishonored, set aside, penetrated, broken, or violated. It has proven to be totally invincible. The natural law trust ensures your wealth doesn't get caught in the expensive and privacy invading process of probate. It makes a will less important or redundant. It makes all restrictive and statutory forms of asset protection unnecessary. It surpasses the entire field of both statutory and non-statutory entities out there, including common law trusts. It has corrected mistakes made in other methods and given 3 generations of fortunate operators the pleasure of quietly remaining protected, private, and free. International natural law trusts have a 100% success rate, meaning they have never been penetrated or invalidated. The trust can do a lot more things than most people have ever realized. It can hold bank accounts. It can pay all the bills of the trust officers. It can hold real estate. It can protect just about any kind of asset. This type of trust can be a foundation, either to receive grants or make grants. It can hold a business. It can hold a scientific institute. It can hold a religious or spiritual organization. It can be a holding company. It can be a family estate planning instrument. It can be a personal vehicle for commerce, and it can be a tax shelter. Can you believe it? The musician, rock musician Prince, you may have heard of. Well, he passed away a few years ago, and his estate was reportedly worth $100 to $300 million. The court was charged with dividing up the estate of Prince, the pop star who died in 2016, without a will. And of course, even better than a will would have been a natural law trust. You would be surprised how many wealthy and famous people not only don't have the best trust in the world, but don't even have any trust at all. So yeah, it's, look, rich people and famous people need this just as much as average middle-class people. So feel free to share the word with those who need it, regardless of what strata of society they're in. The main thing that is a refreshing breeze for those who operate the Natural Law Trust is it has no filing requirements, no registration requirements. It's not public, posted on public record. Individuals can reduce personal income tax by transferring much of their commerce into the trust. It has no attorney or state public registration requirements, no annual dues, no professional maintenance expenses. It allows one to immediately move all business, investment, and free discretionary income into non-taxable status. It's non-statutory, sovereign, irrevocable, pure, and impenetrable. We already reviewed the famous wealthy families who've used it. It avoids legalese and written in plain, simple, high school English that anyone can understand. Congresses and parliaments will not legislate against it because the elite themselves use it. Works equally well in most countries worldwide. International effectiveness because it embraces the best of all the greatest forms of human law: kingdom law, canon law, common law, uniform commercial code, domestic state law. That's why it synthesizes them all into one, natural law. Ideal for holding foreign currencies expected to exponentially revalue. Can be a personal trust, family trust, holding company, foundation, spiritual organization, humanitarian project, charity, or much more. Now this I will not read out completely, but you can see it says court precedent validate the rights of a private contract trust organization. A House of Freedom International Natural Law Trust from Brilliance and Commerce is considered to be one of the best designed examples of a private contract trust organization. And so this article you will find on the website. The authority and creator and the principle to create a contract of indenture in the form of an irrevocable business trust is protected under Article 1, Section 10, and so on and so forth of the United States Constitution. So you can read that at your leisure when you want, or have your legal advisors look it over. And here we have what an international natural law trust organization can do for you. Assets are protected 100%. That means the assets that you put into it, of course. Protection from creditors, liability suits, malpractice suits, employees, personal bankruptcy, excessive divorce settlements, avoids probate, inheritance tax, estate taxes, court actions, eliminates attorney's fees, executive fees, income taxes, eliminates or reduces accountant fees, frees tax dollars for capital appreciation, provides complete control over your assets through trustees, no public record. Ownership and title can be passed to heirs in complete secrecy, can be renewed every 25 years. Heirs cannot change, challenge, or contest any wishes at your death. The trust is easy to maintain and very inexpensive. Our 89-page ebook, The Natural Law Trust, is available at no charge and is available for download from, we'll give you the website address in a few minutes here. If you have questions, please read the Q&A section first, as you will find very thorough and valuable information there. And we have monthly trust webinars, and you can see them on our YouTube channel at www.brilliance-videos.com. That's just a generic site for the webinars, the trust webinars. Natural law serves all beings always perfectly and equally. That is why we use the words natural law. Now, what is an irrevocable trust? This cartoon sort of illustrates the wolf is trying to blow down the house. You know, I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down. And the residents are saying, don't worry, my house is made out of irrevocable trusts. Well, a simple example might be, imagine you have $1 million and imagine somebody wants to claim it. Somebody believes they can get a judgment from a court demanding that you pass that $1 million to them. And if they succeed in getting that judgment from a court, yes, they could force you, the court could force you to hand over that $1 million to the one who won the judgment. Now, if you transfer that into a revocable trust, and you say, well, I'd be happy to honor your judgment, but I don't have the money anymore. It's now in a trust. They look at the trust and they say, aha, it's a revocable trust. The court can then force you to revoke that asset back from the trust. So a revocable trust is not worth the paper it's written on. It is not an asset protection instrument. All right. So irrevocable means you have irrevocably relinquished control of that asset forever to this legal entity. Even if you then become trustee of that entity, it is a separate legal entity under the law, meaning even if you as trustee have control of it, it is no longer in your personal name, and therefore no judgment can apply to it. So that's why this cartoon makes sense. My house is made of irrevocable trust. That's called state-of-the-art asset protection, but there are other clauses in the natural law trust created by our trust department that make it even far beyond any ordinary irrevocable private contract trust. International recognition of this trust right to exist, you'll find that also on our website. This trust is a separate legal, lawful, and legal entity formed by private contract and comprehensively defined as a private, irrevocable personal trust. It is not a business trust, even though it can own a business, meaning a business trust is a statutory term, okay? So we don't call it a business trust, but it can own your business if you wish. Nor any other entity of statutory nature. Its existence, validity, and authority are from the unalienable right to contract under the common law and contract law as it exists internationally and needs no permission or franchise from any country to exist or function. And then it goes on. I'll let the rest of the text be read by you if you wish. Hold on a moment. Just a moment. Okay. Sorry about the delay, but we do have an ebook that everyone should enjoy. By the way, if you have questions, memorize them or write them down because we'll be going into question and answer session here in a moment. But anyway, here's a cover of our natural law state-of-the-art asset protection for peaceful people ebook, 89 pages that you can download off the website and refer to. You can print it out or read it on your device. All right, so for questions, let's open it up. And for those watching on your smartphone or computer, you can click on the raise hand icon if you want to speak verbally, vocally, or you can type your question into chat. Those who've called in by telephone, press *9 on your phone if you want to speak on the air and share your question. And one of the questions is, are we going to be able to get this recording to reference? Absolutely. Yes, no problem. Be more than happy. I'll make it available once we've posted it to Lee Grant, and then Lee, you can share it with everyone. Okay, so um, we have a very, very nice group of people with us today. Thank you for your for your listening and your attention. And I have consolidated and, you might say, concentrated a lot of the essential information about the trust into a brief message, which I really don't want to go on and on and on forever. I want to know what your interests are. So although many of your questions might be answered in the ebook and on the website, today you have the opportunity to share your questions regardless of what might already be in the frequently asked questions. I'll be happy to entertain them today for the benefit of everybody. All right. Lee says, so once you pay your fee, how many days does it take to get your trust? And that is generally within a couple of days. So it's fast. But look, it's more than just paying your fee. On the website, we have the ordering system that works efficiently. And the welcome pages comes by email. So it's an email download of your welcome pages. So once you've paid, then instantly that email comes and we ask that you check your spam and so forth to make sure that you get it. So it's from Brilliance in Commerce, and it gives you a link, a download link to a PDF. So most computers these days have Acrobat Reader or some other PDF reader. It's about 11, 12 page document that explains your next procedures to get your trust set up. And at the end of that, then there is a trust client information form. And the form doesn't ask for social security number. It doesn't ask for anything like that. It's not an official government form. It's nothing like that. It doesn't go to any, it just goes to us. It goes to our trust writer. And all it asks is, what name do you want on the trust? Who do you want as trustee? Who do you want as beneficiary? Who do you want as grantor? And so forth. So some basic questions that are required to customize the trust for you, and then a place to ask questions. Once you've clicked and submitted that form, then it takes a couple of business days and you'll have your trust set up. But you will then be in private, one-on-one communication with our trust writer to give you consultation on customization and any private personal questions you may have about the setup and the operation of your trust. Okay? I think, Cedric, I may have answered your question. When will we get the trust? I think that answered it. It's basically a couple of days after you've made your payment and filled out your trust client information form and submitted it. And then along the way, usually in the beginning, there will be some personal questions you may want to ask about, how do I transfer this asset? How do I do this? How do I do that? What do you recommend? That all goes on privately by email and phone with our trust writer. And of course, you're welcome, more than welcome, to travel to Hawaii and meet with our trust writer in person if you should so wish. Okay, QAG asks, with this trust, will we have to report to the IRS yearly or at all? Maybe you came in late to the meeting, but no, there are no reporting requirements. There is no obligation anywhere in the world, under state, under federal, or under any government jurisdiction. If they see the trust at all, they see it as a pass-through. And therefore, they don't see it as an income generating and a tax generating entity. Okay. The taxing people would hope that the beneficiaries would be taxable. But when and if distributions are made to the beneficiaries is really up to you, the client, the creator, and hopefully the trustee. And Lee has asked about the price. Yes, you will see on the website, the price is $2,500 one time only for the trust. It's actually $10,000 is the true price, but when we were marketing it to wealthy people, And then a lot of people with lesser means came along and they needed it. We really wanted to create a sliding scale and create accommodation for those who don't have 10,000 or who don't have enough to easily and comfortably afford that. So the website that you will be given the address of in a few minutes here, you will see that that price is $2,500 US, one time, no annual fees, no further fees. The only time there would ever be any more fees is if you needed private extended consultation with our trust writer about additional issues beyond the scope of your initial trust setup. And some people engage our trust writer for, evaluating a whole business setup or an asset protection structure, multi-layering, multiple trusts, putting other statutory entities under the natural law trust. If you have, now some of that will be included in the initial consultation, but if you have a very complex and extensive type of consultation need, then it would be $150 an hour. But most things are included in your one-time fee. And for those who don't even have 2,500, there is the option of a $250 a month with no interest paid, 10 months installment plan automatically charged to your credit card, but then you don't get your full trust for full use until the end of the 10-month payment plan. So ideally, you can pay $2,500 once and afford having your trust completely set up, ready to use, and get your bank account open for it within a few days after getting it. Ken says, what are the specific elements that make the trust the best in the world? Well, number one, it's non-statutory. The fact that statutory entities are created by legislatures means they have long lists of regulations to comply with. They typically have lots of fees. They typically are complicated. They typically require an attorney or an accountant to interpret the terms, and they are deliberately written with a lot of legalese and cites to a lot of statutes that most people are not privy to, and they require the expertise of professionals to interpret, which adds an additional expense. And it also disempowers you because now you're dependent on these professionals for their interpretation, and they can and often do take advantage of clients because of their ignorance. In addition, they don't deliver as many benefits. Practically all statutory trusts and statutory entities in general, such as corporations, LLCs, even 501(c)(3)s, nonprofit organizations, all of them require filing with the tax agency. They require filing and reporting. Oh, Mr. Authority, I had this much come in and I have this much going out, and is it okay if I keep my status as it is, and so forth. You don't have any of that with a common law trust. All right, so get out of the entire world of statutory entities, move into the area of common law. Under common law, there are also a number of trusts out there that are inferior. They're inferior because they don't have the clauses in them. In answer to your question, Ken, and everyone who's listening, you may want to take note that it is the clauses, C-L-A-U-S-E, a clause, meaning a short requirement or explanation of responsibility or benefit or policy that are written into our House of Freedom International Natural Law Trust. When we have had experts examine this trust, they have been blown away. They said, wow, I have never seen a trust anywhere in this world that combines that many intelligent clauses that we've just never seen in any other entity, any other trust or any other entity of any kind, that protect the interests of the trustees and the beneficiaries, the parties to the trust, and the trust itself, the assets in the trust. So once you receive the trust, you'll be able to see those clauses. You'll be able to see, wow, this really is unsurpassed, unprecedented, and nowhere else can you find that many in there. So the basic design comes after generations of experience by the world's elite, right? And those generations of experience have evolved. Over the last many decades, with the advancement of computers, we've gotten a lot more efficient at information distribution and learning. And we have studied the laws year after year after year and gone on making a little tweak here, a little tweak there, a little addition there, a little refinement there, so that it is a very, very fine machine now, a very, very fine instrument that is fine-tuned and beyond the benefit level of just about any other entity we've ever seen. If you find one, Ken or anyone else listening, that you think is as good as ours, please let us know. We would love to know about it. We haven't found one. And if you think of improvements on this instrument after you receive it, let us know as well. We would be happy to entertain that. Oh, okay. Q, you asked, you stated you are on YouTube. You were going too fast. Will you repeat the website again? Yes, the basic URL, it will forward to our YouTube channel, which has a lot of characters in it, but it's very simple. www.brilliance, like the brilliance of the midday sun, BRILLIANCE dash or hyphen videos, videos.com. Okay. Jackie, you've got your hand up. I'm going to unmute you or ask you to unmute yourself, and you are on the air.
Okay, thank you. I
Hi,
wanted to ask
Jackie.
a couple of questions. I couldn't, it was, so much to try to formulate it in a writing. So
Sure.
now, who is the creator of this trust? So your company, is it the grantor and creator of this trust?
We consider you, the client, to be the creator. We put it together for you. Yes, of course. We provide the written document and all the consultation that's needed to go with it. But really, you are the creator, and then you have a choice of which roles you wish to play. We recommend you being the trustee, but you could choose someone else. And that is all described. All the pros and cons of the various roles you have to play are described on the website, in the ebook, and also in your welcome pages when you become a client. It's all described in there. What your advantages of being the trustee are, what your disadvantages are, what your advantages of being a beneficiary. Can you be both? All of that is described in there. It's a little more than we'd maybe want to go into today. It's also covered in those YouTube videos.
Okay. When we get our EIN number, it's says irrevocable trust, but it is not coded as a tax exempt entity. So everybody else is required to report or file a 1041. Now, what makes this different?
What makes it different is your knowledge, okay? As you may know, the IRS does not choose to recognize anything that is not under its authority, right?
That's correct.
The heads of the IRS know very well that there are plenty of arrangements out there that are not under its authority. And many of the people using those arrangements are members of the elite. So they're not going to shoot themselves in the foot by stepping on that. Therefore, they leave it up to you to know your rights. Have you ever heard the saying, the only rights you have are the rights you know you have?
Sort of.
Because if you have a right, but you don't know you have it, your manner of living will be as if you don't have that right. So every expert who has examined this trust has concluded that when you get the EIN, for banking purposes only, not for filing tax returns, it's just an
Right.
identifier for the bank, that's all.
Correct.
The EIN letter that you get online will say you are required to file Form 1041 on this entity because it only applies to statutory entities. That's all they recognize. That's all they talk about. Okay. This is a non-statutory entity, and no, it is not officially exempt. What it is, it's an exception. So the word is exception. It's an exception to the filing requirements. And knock on wood, that has been functioning absolutely perfectly fine for as many generations as our clients and our mentors have been using these. Not a single person using any of these trusts has ever had a problem in that respect.
Okay, one other question. I guess here lately, the some of the banks are looking for these type of entities. Anything that's got common law, anything that's got natural law, and they are pretty much rejecting. Matter of fact, I had an experience myself personally. So how, just because it has an EIN number nowadays, you know, where they didn't used to, looks at every word and inspects, you know, those trusts because, you know, the IRS is cracking down on these types of entities. You know, it's things I've, you know, been hearing over the years and people's experience.
Okay, the way that we are successful in avoiding that problem is by giving you the exact language to use when you go to the bank. And you must follow those instructions. We give you instructions on how to get the EIN, and we give you assistance if you need it. We also give you exact instructions on, for example, what words not to use. You don't ever use the word common law. You will not find that as a descriptor in the trust itself. It doesn't describe the trust as a common law trust.
What about natural law?
Nope. Don't use any of those words.
Okay, so there's no red flag words.
That's
Because I
right.
haven't seen the trust, I don't know. There's no red flag
That's
words
right.
in the indenture of the trust.
Well, you don't give the indenture to the bank.
Well, some of them have been asking, they want to see the whole, I mean, not just at one bank, but two, where they want to see and inspect the
Well,
whole trust.
look,
Now, some banks don't, but there are some, especially in Chase, that do.
there's no harm in giving them a copy of the indenture, but my personal approach is, why do that? Look, everyone, the great thing about this is that if you have a bank turn you down, and or they say they ask too many questions, they want to see the whole trust and all that, thank them, wish them a nice day, smile, and leave, and go down the street to a different bank. You know what my experience has been, and the experience of everybody else who's done this? The bank that will say yes with a smile without demanding too much turns out to be a better bank to deal with anyway, and often will be the best bank in the area that you could have possibly chosen. And guess what? This can vary from branch to branch. One of my friends went into a Wells Fargo branch and they said no. She went down the street about a mile away to a different Wells Fargo branch and they said yes with a smile, and they opened the account, and it's still open to this day. So it's a
Okay.
very subjective thing. It depends on which branch, which employee, what mood they're in, what their knowledge level is. And I wouldn't argue with them. If they're not nice about it and they're not smart enough to welcome you, they don't realize what they're losing. They're losing a valuable customer. And if they're dumb enough to do that, let them. You know?
Okay, well, thank you. Yes, we've
their
had that
loss.
experience.
It's
You
their
know, had
loss.
that
But
experience. So,
we give you the right language to use. You use the word irrevocable. It's a irrevocable private contract trust. That's it. That's it. And you don't go around using natural law, common law, pure, sovereign, any of those words.
so no, I wouldn't. But you're saying that when they read it, they're not going to find anything in there that will give them.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Correct.
Well,
And
great.
thank you for raising that point. It's a very good point because, you know, I had the experience in the 90s where I saw other types of trusts, and some of them were, I mean, they had anti-government language in them, and, you know, back off, and warning, you know, if you intrude on this, and whoa, that doesn't actually strengthen the trust. You know, it actually weakens it, and it actually invites trouble.
Right.
Our trust has friendly language in it. It doesn't have any of that sort of anti-government language in it. It's not necessary. Why do that?
Mhm.
This trust, and the pages that you do take into the bank are just a few pages from the trust that we give you the list. We give you the list. These are the sections of the trust that is recommended to take in to the bank. And like you said, yes, they're safe for the bank to read with a smile. They'll be, oh, thank you. I'll be happy to help you with that. And that's generally the experience of most people.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Okay.
Well, you're very welcome. And I would like to invite Lee to unmute yourself for a moment and just add your own experience at Chase. Lee, are you there? Would you like to just?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Taansen, I like what Jackie did because there's a lot of people ask that same question. And I had a friend that got turned down at the bank, but he went in and gave the wrong language. He went in and gave natural trust, common law, and it freaked him out.
He didn't follow the instructions.
I followed the instruction. I went to just a private wealth bank. When I walked in there with my wife, gave them the documents that you all told me to carry. Man, they were bringing out the red carpet for me. They even gave me a credit card, a debit card with $150,000 on it. So I told them I was going to put in about $250,000. They treated me, and they took my trust paper to the legal department. In a day or so, they called me back, said, Mr. Grant, come on in. And I'm set up right now, ready to go. But I want to say to Jackie and to all people that's with my group, when you walk into any bank with $250,000 or $500,000 cashier check, I don't think they're gonna turn you down. Okay, so you're going in with proof that you got money. So this is why I had Taansen on here. We're not gonna take up too much of this time because most of you with me, you will be getting my link. And Taansen, I'll just go ahead and say this to you since you're a friend of mine. I will be paying for all my people trust anyway. I'll be paying the $2,500 because I made agreement with them that I would do that. And that's why I wanted them to sign up under my link, and I want them to hear you. But most of these folks going to go in with a cashier check, and I don't see no bank turn them down. If they do, they foolish, go somewhere else. Okay, Taansen, that's the experience I had, my friend.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. That's perfect. Absolutely. I totally agree. I mean, if they're foolish enough to turn you down, smile, wish them a nice day, and go elsewhere. And the bank that says yes is going to turn out to be the best one that you'll be happy with. Yep. Paula asked, where do I find the definition of trustee and grantor? You'll find all of that in the trustee book, which you can download from the website, as well as in the videos of our YouTube channel. And you'll also get it in the welcome pages that you will receive once you've got your trust order placed. And your role with the trust will be, you know, the various advantages of which role you're going to play are in there. And you say, should I be trustee of my trust? We leave that up to the client. But for most people, we recommend it. The only reason you would not want to be trustee is if you're very young or elderly, or you're just in a lifestyle where you just don't want the responsibility. You want hands off. You want somebody else to handle it for you, and you don't need to be involved in daily transactions. You know, because if someone else is trustee, a good friend of yours or something, someone you trust, you're going to have to give them letters of wishes whenever you want something done. So if you want money out or you want money sent somewhere, you're going to have to give them letters of wishes, and then the trustee will fulfill that for you. But if you're engaged in a very active business, or a lot of donations or grants or humanitarian projects, or some kind of activity that involves a lot of transactions, and you're comfortable with handling the banking and the transfer of assets and so forth, then most likely you should be trustee. You say also, will my one-on-one consultation tell me how to put assets into my trust, for example, a home, a car, and so on? Yes, that's what the one-on-one consultation is for. And every trust client gets that with our trust writer, and we have other people backing him up. So there are several of us that can assist. All right, Alfreda, if there is a question from any authority regarding my assets, is there anyone in your company that can represent and help answer these questions for me? Absolutely. Of course, we're here for you. We just warn people to stay away from bar licensed attorneys in general. Now, there might be a precious few who appreciate and understand these entities. If you can find them, congratulations. But most in the system people, CPAs and attorneys, are ignorant, brainwashed, and oblivious. They just are not reliable. So what we have is a network of people who are the knowers, the experienced experts. You might call us common law lawyers, people who understand the law and understand administration of these entities. And we are here for you to provide that consultation, of course. Okay, Q, you ask, once you set up your trust, will we have contact with you if the need arises? Yes, of course. Since you said a child can understand this trust, absolutely. And we deliberately write the trust in high school English without the legalese, so that in just a little more than 30 pages, 35 pages or so, you have the equivalent of what other trusts will spend hundreds of pages. We just eliminate all of that unnecessary legalese. It's just not there. It's not necessary. We just state things in plain, simple English. Anyone can understand it, but still, if you have a question, of course, we're here for you. Our trust writer, that's what he enjoys doing. He doesn't talk to the public. I talk to the public. Our trust writer only helps the clients full time. That's all he does. All right, website link in the chat. Well, it's going to be on one of the slides, but we'll put it in chat as well. And that is freedomabounds.com. All right, Raureen, you said if we need additional info outside of what is offered, the trustee would be able to speak with an attorney or someone to get that assistance. What would hourly rate be, or would it just depend on the need? It depends on the need. For example, sometimes people already have a trust and they are reluctant to put it in the trash. They are thinking maybe it could still be useful. They want it reviewed and perhaps improved or fixed, repaired, enhanced, corrected. Then Randall, our trust writer, will charge about $150 an hour to do that. That's one of the types of consultation that people come to him for. But if it's about your own trust from us, you won't need to pay any hourly fee. You just pay the 2,500. That's it. Then he will be basically available for you for years and years and years to come, as long as you need it. And we've not had a problem with operating that way. Yeah, so Lee, this link is for you, for your organization, the freedomabounds.com. Let's see, we have a hand up from 212. I'm going to ask you to unmute. You must be from New York. You're unmuted. Or I'm asking you to unmute anyway. The person calling from 212, if you would like to unmute, you'll be on the air. Okay. Looks like someone's asking you for your phone number, Lee, in the chat. 212, we're still waiting for you to come on.
I'm unmuted now.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
congratulations.
My name is Hattie. I'd like to know, does your company advise us on possible investments to grow our funds?
We don't, we're not licensed as advisors, but we do provide information. So at freedomabounds.com, you will see a section called private placement platforms. And we specialize only in the zero risk investments, nothing else. We don't share information on anything that has any risk, which means generally it's a lot of money that one must have to get involved in them. But if you don't have 10 million or 100 million and you know people who do or could know people, you can serve as an intermediary to introduce them and receive the commissions.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else you'd like to know about that?
No, I think that's good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Taansen, can you hear me?
Yes, and there's the slide with your link on it.
Okay. Whenever you want to wrap this up, you can, because they'll get back with me, but I appreciate you, my friend. It's whatever you want to do. It's been a while. So whenever you want to close it, we can do it.
Well, it looks like we've completed the questions for the moment.
Okay.
And everybody has www.freedomabounds.com. Those of you called in by phone, that's the word freedom, FREEDOM, and then A, B as in boy, O, U, N as in Nancy, D as in day, S as in Sunday.com, freedomabounds.com.
And Taansen, I want to tell everyone, Taansen, can you hear me?
Yes, but we do have another question in chat.
Okay.
How many trusts can you have? Well, there's no limit to that. It depends on how many. I mean, it was said back in the early 90s that the Rockefellers had some 7,000 of these trusts. It depends on, of course, your staff, your staffing, how many people you have to help you to manage them and administer them, how many assets you have, how many projects you have. There's the old asset protection saying, never put all your eggs in one basket. You know, so if you have multiple assets in large size, then you may want to have multiple trusts for each of the significant assets, like each different house, each different boat, plane, or business or investment, business, you know, whatever you consider to be your major assets. As far
Nope.
as a phone number for Brilliance in Commerce, that is given on the website.
Do not give out my number.
Okay.
I've got a facilitator. They know who it is.
Okay.
With my group is Helen Broader. They know how to get in touch with my facilitator, Helen, and she gets in touch with me. That's the way we do it. Don't give my phone number. I've got enough calls as it is.
All right. Well, everyone,
Thank you.
suffice it to say that we are accessible. We are in communication whenever anyone wants us to be. On the website, there is a place to click that says contact us, and you can submit a ticket. Phone calls are not usually answered live. We usually return calls. But thank you, Lee. You've been wonderful. All of the people who've joined us have been wonderful. Thank you for your questions.
And Taansen, hopefully within the next less than 30 days, everybody that want to trust with you guys will be getting back and signing up and getting it done, okay? We're just going to make Randall real busy.
All right. Tommy sent one last question. Should we entertain that now or some other time?
Yeah, you can.
All right. Tommy says, can you commingle assets or put all real estate in one trust and cars in one and everything else in another? Yes, you can put as many assets into one trust as you wish. The thing is, just keep in mind that cars generally are a liability because of the potential for accidents. So we generally don't recommend putting cars in the same trust with other assets. If it's an expensive car and you want it protected, you can create a separate trust for that. Real estate, you'd probably want to have a different trust for each piece of real estate. It's kind of up to you, but it's just recommended to have a different trust for each different significant asset. All right, well,
Taansen,
everyone.
Taansen,
Yes.
tell them about if you get more than one trust, it's a lot cheaper, right? If they buy more than one trust,
In
it's a
one
little
order.
cheaper.
Yes, there's a
Huh?
discount. You'll see it on the shopping cart, 10%
Right.
on the first, on the second one, and then I think on the third and additional trust, it's 20%. So you'll see that on the shopping cart.
Okay, we can wrap it up. I just want to tell everybody, get in touch with Helen. If you're with the Kim Lee group, get in touch with Helen, and Helen get in touch with me. But Taansen, I've got to run some errands myself, my friend, but I appreciate your time and patience. And I love being part of the family. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, and thank everyone. Take care. We'll see you.
Okay.